21 Savage was one of the most talked about rappers in 2019. The London-born rapper is reportedly worth around $12 million, according to Celebrity Net Worth. And when you have that kind of money, you're likely to treat yourself to a couple of fancy and expensive things once in a while. His real estate portfolio is pretty impressive, and his car collection features over $700,000 worth of cars that average people like you and I could only dream about owning. He's also made it clear to fans that he's done buying jewelry in an effort to put a light on the importance of financial literacy. But that doesn't mean 21 Savage doesn't have a couple of expensive chains still lying around from back in the day. I mean, he is worth $12 million. So, are you curious about how 21 Savage made all that money and what else he could possibly do with it? Well, then we have you covered. Here is an exclusive inside look at the $12 million lifestyle of 21 Savage. Now, before we get into how 21 Savage spends his money, we have to give you guys a little background on how he earned all his wealth. His first taste of money happened back before he even began rapping. In Atlanta, he was a well-known Kush salesman that, surprisingly, made a decent amount of money. It's obviously unknown how much he made, but he managed to make enough money to get his mom her own place, while he continued living at his old house, which was now his personal trap house. 21 Savage also mentioned that he did a lot of home invasions around Atlanta, where he would sell most of the stolen goods for some extra money. He soon realized that this kind of lifestyle would not turn out well for him, so he started to focus on music rather than the trap. After a few studio sessions, 21 Savage released his first mixtape called The Slaughter Tape, which gained a lot of traction around Atlanta. And he even had various hip-hop blogs call him the underground hero in Atlanta. With the success of his first mixtape, 21 Savage started to receive his first few paychecks from rapping. Our estimated guess on what he was making per show is somewhere between the ballpark of $500 to $1,000. We also assume that other Atlanta rappers were lining up to get a feature with him, and estimated that he charged around $500 to $1,500 for those features. Once he got his first taste of rap money, he knew that this was the career for him, and he never looked back. Around a year after the release of his first mixtape, 21 Savage dropped a song called Red Ops, which now has over 117 million views at the time of this recording. The success of this song basically changed his entire life. His show prices most likely tripled, and his streaming numbers probably brought him a nice chunk of change as well. The success of Red Ops also put him in a situation where almost every record label was trying to sign him for millions of dollars. He eventually signed to LA Reid's Epic Records for an unknown amount of money, but we can easily assume it was probably for a few million. This deal also allowed him to keep the masters to all of his songs, which is incredibly rare for an artist, especially this early in one's career. Now, with all the business stuff taken care of, 21 Savage went on to make timeless hits, with one of them being Rockstar with Post Malone, which was number 1 on the charts for 8 weeks in a row and broke multiple streaming records. Other notable hits were his songs Bank Account and A Lot with J. Cole. So, now that you have a little background about 21 Savage and his career, it's time for the fun part, where we go over how much we think 21 currently makes, and how he spends his impressive multi-million-dollar fortune. As of late 2019, we estimate that 21 Savage makes around $120,000 per show, on average. This, of course, can change, since he can charge whatever he wants for a show, but I think if he were to go on tour, this is probably about the amount he would make for every performance. I also think it's worth noting that he got paid $1 million to perform at a bar mitzvah back in 2017. Details about all this are scarce, but reports say that 2 lawyers named Janet and Michael Steinger flew 21 Savage to their hometown on their private jet to perform at their son's bar mitzvah, and allegedly paid him a cool $1 million in the process. This obviously was a once-in-a-lifetime deal for 21 Savage, but it just goes to show how much a rapper of his size and fame can charge for a single performance. In addition to the shows, we also estimate that he charges around $250,000 for a feature. 21 also makes a good amount of money from streams and record sales, but his percentages are not public. So it is hard to determine how much he makes from that, but his streaming numbers are quite impressive, so it's definitely a significant amount. Overall, 21 Savage is rumored to be worth around $12 million, and we assume he makes around $3 to $6 million a year at this point in his career. Now, when you're making that kind of money, you can already assume that he lives in a nice house, and he definitely does, or at least he did. 21 keeps his real estate situation pretty low-key nowadays, but it wasn't always that way. When he first got some money, he moved out to Los Angeles and stayed in a massive mega mansion in the Hollywood Hills. He was renting this multi-million-dollar mansion for around $45,000 a month from Danny Fitzgerald, the same guy who rents out the Clout House to FaZe Clan. 21 Savage's house looked almost identical to the Clout House, inside and out, and is around the same size in square footage. He stayed in the hills for a while, but eventually moved back to Atlanta. When he went back to Atlanta, he bought a luxurious 2,200 square foot penthouse on the 24th floor of the downtown Atlanta W. It's unknown how much he paid for it, but in early 2019, he put it back up on the market, and it could be yours for the low price of $800,000. It's unknown where he resides now, but he's made it clear that he frequently invests in property around Atlanta. In addition to real estate, 21 Savage also seems to love his cars. His collection is somewhat small compared to other rappers, but that doesn't mean that it's not impressive. The first car on this list is the Ferrari 488. Now, you're probably thinking, oh, that's the car that Drake gave him for his birthday. And you wouldn't be wrong, but you wouldn't be right at the same time. See, Drake did gift a red Ferrari 488 to 21 Savage on his birthday, but only to ride around in for a few days. But after driving around that car, 21 Savage admitted that he fell in love with it, and ended up buying one for himself a few days later. The Ferrari was purchased for an impressive $250,000. The second car in his collection is the Bentley Bentayga, aka the Bentley Truck. The Bentayga is mentioned in a lot of modern hip-hop, and that's due to its iconic look and luxurious driving experience. It is the fastest and most expensive SUV on the market today. 21 Savage allegedly paid around $230,000 for his Bentayga, and I can almost guarantee that he doesn't regret that decision at all. The third and final car in 21's collection is the Mercedes Maybach S600. This car was purchased right after 21 Savage was paid the $1 million for that bar mitzvah performance we talked about earlier in the video. The car was purchased for $192,000, and it must have been on his wish list for quite some time, if it was the first thing he bought after making a quick million. Now, when you got the house and the cars, there's only one thing left to really purchase, and that is jewelry. 21 Savage used to be really big into jewelry, but recently admitted to no longer purchasing it anymore because he wanted to be smart with his money. So, he invests in real estate and cryptocurrency instead. But just because he doesn't buy jewelry anymore doesn't mean that he doesn't have a few pieces of bling still lying around. One significant piece of jewelry he has is a double-sided chain of his own face with Jason Voorhees on the other side. This piece is completely flooded with VVS diamonds and apparently cost a cool $121,000, which was paid to the creators of the piece at Raffaello & Company. Another piece he has is a Slaughter Gang chain with a Jason mask in between the two words. It's unclear who made this piece and how much it cost, but it's a pretty cool piece of jewelry. 21 Savage also has his notorious 21 dagger chain, which is flooded with clear VVS diamonds, as well as another similar chain that just says Savage. The price of these two chains is unknown, but I feel like they were not cheap. In addition to his chains, 21 also has a $55,000 Patek Philippe watch that he and his ex-girlfriend Amber Rose gave each other as gifts. The total of the two watches was around $110,000. He also has an impressive collection of designer clothes featuring luxurious brands such as YSL, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, and many, many more. The total price of this wardrobe is obviously unknown, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's worth well over $300,000. When you're paying $1,500 for a single article of clothing, it can add up really fast. Overall, 21 Savage lives one luxurious and expensive lifestyle that almost anyone would dream of living. I also want to make it clear that this is just what the public knows about his lifestyle. As I said earlier, 21 is really putting an emphasis on the importance of financial literacy, so he's slowed down on the flexing online. But that doesn't mean that he doesn't like to splurge from time to time in private. Regardless, we'll probably never know. But I hope 21 continues down the road he's on because he's having one impressive career so far. Well, there you have it, the $12 million lifestyle of 21 Savage. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more finance videos like this one in the future. Also, feel free to hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we upload. I plan on uploading a video like this every week, so comment down below any suggestions on who we should do a finance video on next. That's all I have for today. I'm out.